My milk showed up in the middle of my evening shift. Please, don't tell my boss. I'll fix everything. However, instead of causing a scene, the customer licked his lips and ordered a private dance from me. I sighed. Once we were alone, the man demanded more.
Take off your gloves. Quickly.
In the customer's hands, I saw a breast pump. I met a lot of freaks while working at the club, but that was way too much. I'm a professional dancer, not a milk bank.
You don't want your boss to find out about our incident, do you?
I was very afraid of losing my job, so I agreed. After getting what he wanted, the creepy man threw a check worth my weekly pay at me. I wanted to ask the mysterious Mr. John Smith what that all meant. Yet I heard a baby's cry coming from the storeroom. It was my newborn son. Since I didn't have money for a babysitter, I was forced to secretly bring him with me to the club. While I was dealing with the child, Mr. Smith disappeared. Not for long, though, as I saw him again after my shift. The man had triplets crying in his car and looked extremely nervous.
Start up, you damn thing. We need to get out of here, Sap.
That freak didn't look like someone who had children. So I got closer. And good thing I did. I saw the name Brooks on the baby blanket. Now I knew why Mr. Smith needed my milk. He was going to feed the children he kidnapped from the Brooks family. I dialed 911 and made an anonymous report.
Ma'am, there are no records of missing babies at the moment.
Not yet. You have to check this guy. His name is John Smith. As it turned out, there were thousands of John Smiths in the state. I tried to see the villain's license plate in the darkness, but he blinded me with the car's headlights. The following evening, Mr. Smith got to my son. Luckily, I caught him just in time inside the storeroom. Don't touch him or you'll regret it! My words frightened the freak. And he ran away, leaving a generous payment for the stolen bottles containing my milk. I had to protect my child, which was why I asked my boss not to let him into the club anymore. This client gets handsy.
That's not my problem, baby. Mr. Smith paid me a month in advance, so that only you will dance for him.
I was ready for his next visit when he ordered me to give him milk again. I pretended to feel sick. Oh, it's so stuffy in here. I need some fresh air. Once I got outside, I wrote down his car's license plate and anonymously reported it to the police. Checkmate, Mr. Smith. Upon returning, I handed him 1 bottle of milk. That's all I have. Come back tomorrow. You paid a whole month ahead anyway. The man was visibly unhappy with the small portion.
I need to...
I refused to listen, as I was afraid of being alone with him for too long. The next day, he didn't show up at the appointed time. I was happy. My plan worked. The scoundrel had been arrested. Near the end of my shift, my boss called me to dance for a wealthy client. Suspecting nothing, I entered the VIP room and...
So it was you who set the cops on me? Come here.
Ah! Leave me alone! My boss rushed toward my screams, but my hope for help was in vain. He was furious as he had found my son in the storeroom.
You broke the rules, and now it's up to me to decide how long you will work for me for free.
He told me I wouldn't get paid for any of my previous shifts. Please, don't do this. My son and I need something to live on. Unexpectedly, the creepy guy intervened.
If this is enough to make you forget about her forever, she's coming with me.
You can't leave me alone with this nut job, please. However, no one listened to me anymore. After the exchange, Mr. Smith shoved me and my son into his car. I was afraid, not for myself, but for my baby, because the Brooks family's triplets were still with that freak. The door's locks clicked. I prepared for the worst. That's when Mr. Smith showed me a birth certificate. As it turned out, he was the single father of these 3 babies.
I'm sorry if I scared you with this whole situation. I've been waiting to talk to you for a long time, but you refused to.
I timidly pointed at the name embroidered on the blanket.
The kids have my wife's last name. She passed away during childbirth.
It so happened that on the night of our first meeting, Mr. Smith's car broke down. He was fixing it for over 6 hours, and the babies were very hungry, yet he didn't have any milk with him. Then, in order to wash his hands, he walked into the only open place he found in the middle of the night. As he was leaving, the milk incident happened.
I apologize for being harsh. I really needed to feed the babies.
Since that day, Mr. Smith literally hunted my milk down, because his kids ate with pleasure for the very first time.
They weren't gaining weight on formula and got a rush from the milk bank one.
Why didn't you tell me right away that you needed the milk for your babies?
I was afraid you wouldn't understand and report me to social services.
I understood him, as a parent's biggest fear is being separated from their child. I was also afraid of that, which is why I anonymously called the police. I agreed to become a wet nurse for John's children. He paid me well for it, and soon I was able to clear all my debts. Later on, I found a good job with a regular schedule and learned a lesson I will never forget. Never judge others without first walking in their shoes.